I'm Madison, from Santa Rosa, California. I was with Ryan for 5 years, high school sweethearts who grew into adults together. He proposed on our anniversary with a ring I'd secretly picked out. I thought he was my forever. I met Ryan during sophomore year of high school when he transferred from Sacramento. He sat next to me in AP Chemistry, all shy smiles and nervous glances. I found his awkwardness endearing. When he finally asked me to junior prom, I said yes before he even finished his carefully rehearsed speech. We were inseparable after that. We survived the typical high school drama together. The time his football teammates pressured him to break up with that nerdy girl. The night my parents almost forbade me from seeing him after we missed curfew. Each challenge only seemed to strengthen what we had. College decisions came, and we chose universities just 30 minutes apart. While other couples drifted during those years, we drove to see each other every weekend. We'd study in coffee shops until closing time, Ryan's economics textbooks mixed with my psychology notes. For 5 years, my life revolved around our shared calendar of visits, calls, and plans. When Ryan proposed on the beach at sunset during our 5th anniversary weekend, tears streamed down my face. The ring was the same vintage emerald-cut diamond I'd pointed out to him in an antique shop 6 months earlier. I thought he hadn't noticed, but he remembered every detail. That night, as we celebrated with champagne in our hotel room overlooking the Pacific, I felt certain I'd found my soulmate. We moved in together in a small but charming apartment in Santa Rosa. I got a job as a counselor at the local high school while Ryan began his career at a financial consulting firm. We spent weekends planning our wedding, choosing Napa Valley's Meadowood Resort for the following summer. It would be intimate but elegant, just like our relationship, I thought. A few months before our wedding, Ryan started acting distant. Small changes at first, he stopped asking about my day, his kisses became quick pecks, he'd fall asleep facing away from me. When I asked if something was wrong, he blamed stress from work, so I gave him space. I picked up more household responsibilities, thinking I could ease his burden. But the signs were there, late-night texts that made him walk into another room to respond, sudden, work trips that he couldn't quite explain, and him changing his phone password after 5 years of knowing each other's codes. One Saturday, I found a receipt for a dinner at La Rouge, an expensive French restaurant downtown, from a night he told me he was working late. When I asked about it, he stammered something about a client meeting I'd forgotten he mentioned. I wanted to believe him. After all, we'd been through so much together, and the wedding was only 2 months away. My mother had already flown in twice for dress fittings. My bridesmaids had booked their flights. Our registry was full of gifts from friends and family who believed in us. One night, Ryan was in the shower, steam billowing under the bathroom door. His Apple Watch buzzed on the nightstand. I never checked his messages, we'd always trusted each other completely. But something made me look that night. The notification was from his ex, Lauren. They'd dated briefly before we met, but he always insisted they were just casual. The message glowed in the dim room, "I can't wait to finally be with you like we always dreamed." My heart dropped. With shaking hands, I picked up the watch to see more. Their conversation history revealed months of messages, plans made, secrets shared, and promises of a future together, all while he was planning a wedding with me. I sat on our bed, the watch still in my trembling hands, as Ryan walked out of the bathroom, a towel around his waist. He froze when he saw what I was holding. "How long?" I asked, my voice barely audible. He didn't deny it. He didn't even try. He sat beside me, not meeting my eyes, and said he still loved Lauren and had been seeing her for months behind my back. They'd reconnected at his company Christmas party, she now worked for a partner firm. What had started as innocent catching up had reignited feelings he claimed he'd buried years ago. Worse? He said he didn't want to tell me until after the wedding, because he didn't want to hurt me yet. As if postponing the inevitable would somehow lessen the pain. As if marrying me while loving her was doing me a favor. "I was going to tell you after the honeymoon," he said, as if that made it better. I thought we could have that one perfect week together before. Before what? I asked, anger finally breaking through my shock. Before you left your new wife for your ex-girlfriend? Were you planning to consummate our marriage while texting her goodnight? He moved out 2 days later, taking only essential clothes and his personal items. He said he'd come back for the rest when things cooled down. My friends came over with wine and tissues. They helped me box up his remaining belongings, which I stored in my parents' garage. They held me when I cried and promised me I deserved better. Then, just 7 days after moving out of our apartment, Ryan posted a picture with Lauren on Instagram. They were on the same beach where he had proposed to me, her hand flashing a diamond ring that looked suspiciously similar to the one sitting in my jewelry box. The caption read, "When you finally get it right. #second chance at first love." I was humiliated. Friends called to check if I'd seen it. Family members sent awkward messages of support. Even my high school students whispered when I walked past, their phones quickly hidden in pockets. It seemed everyone knew that Madison Campbell had been not just dumped, but replaced, and so publicly. The wedding invitations had already been mailed. I spent a weekend calling guests to tell them the wedding was off. Most were kind, but some couldn't hide their curiosity. What happened, they'd ask, their voices dripping with barely disguised hunger for gossip. I crafted a dignified response about different paths and mutual decisions, even though the truth burned inside me. But I wasn't done. While collecting documents for cancellations, I realized something important. I still had access to the venue contract, which I had booked and I had paid for. The initial deposit of $10,000 had come from my savings account, money I'd been setting aside since my first job at 16. Ryan had promised to reimburse me half, but that check never materialized. And after the engagement announcement with Lauren, he never even offered to help with cancellation costs. In fact, when I texted him about the financial arrangements for the wedding, he replied, "I thought we weren't going through with it anymore. Handle it however you want." So, I called Meadowood Resort and spoke with the event coordinator, a sympathetic woman named Valerie who had helped plan our special day. I explained the situation, and she sighed sadly. "I'm sorry to hear this, Madison. What would you like to do with the reservation?" "I'd like to cancel," I said, my voice steadier than I expected. Valerie explained my options. Since I was listed as the primary client on the contract, I had full authority to make changes. The cancellation fee would be $3,000 given our proximity to the date. And since I had signed as the responsible party, it would be charged directly to the card on file, Ryan's platinum credit card that he had used to help me with deposits early on. The only card on file. "Would you like me to charge a different card?" Valerie asked. I thought about Ryan and Lauren on that beach. About the 5 years I'd given him. About the lies and the betrayal and his cowardly plan to marry me knowing he loved someone else. "No," I said. "Use the card on file." 2 days later, I received a furious call from Ryan. He was shouting before I even said hello. "Did you authorize a $3,000 charge to my credit card?" he demanded. "I canceled our wedding venue," I replied calmly. "As per the contract I signed, there was a cancellation fee." "But that's my card." "Yes, the one you insisted on putting down for the venue. The one you said was our shared financial responsibility when we were planning our future together." He sputtered threats about lawsuits and fraud, but we both knew he had no case. His name was on the approval form, my name was on the contract. Everything was legal and above board. Eventually, he resorted to calling me names I won't repeat. "I hope she's worth $3,000, I said before hanging up. The next week, after much thought, I decided on one final gesture. I still had access to Lauren's address from the time Ryan had sent her a birthday gift during our relationship, another lie I'd uncovered. I ordered a beautiful silver picture frame online and had it gift wrapped with a silver bow. A few weeks later, I sent Lauren the package. Inside the elegant frame was a printed screenshot of her message to Ryan, the one I saw on the watch, along with a note. May your marriage be built on truth, unlike your engagement. P.S. Ask Ryan about the $3,000 venue cancellation charge on his credit card, the one for the wedding he was planning with me while reconnecting with you. I never heard from them again. But friends of friends reported that Lauren and Ryan had a massive fight after my gift arrived. Apparently, Ryan had told her I knew about their relationship months before I actually discovered it. He'd painted me as the desperate ex who wouldn't let go, not the betrayed fiancé who found out through an Apple Watch notification. 6 months later, I received an unmarked envelope in my mailbox. Inside was a check for $1,500, half the cancellation fee, with no note attached. The signature was Lauren's. I donated the money to a domestic violence shelter in Santa Rosa. Something about holding that check made me feel unclean, tainted by their drama. The shelter director sent me a thank you card that now sits on my mantle, a reminder that sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all, but moving forward with grace. I still think about them occasionally. I wonder if that silver frame sits somewhere in their home, a constant reminder of their tainted beginning. I wonder if Ryan ever tells Lauren she looks beautiful, the way he used to tell me. I wonder if she checks his Apple Watch when he's in the shower. But mostly, I don't think about them at all. I've started dating again, slowly, cautiously. I've taken the solo trip to Europe I always wanted but postponed for Ryan's career. I've redecorated our once shared apartment, replacing our style with colors and patterns that are entirely my own. Sometimes I wonder if I went too far with my parting gift. Other times, I feel it wasn't enough for the humiliation and pain they caused. But in my clearer moments, I realize the truth: my revenge didn't fix what was broken inside me, but it did help me close a chapter one needed to end. I don't know if they're still together. I don't know if they ever made it to the altar. But I like to think that silver frame still haunts their living room, a gleaming reminder that foundations matter, and theirs was built on sand.